Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds podcast.
Joy Dog Food is one of the oldest dog food companies on the market, starting back in 1945. Since then, much has changed in the pet food industry, but one thing that'll never change is our dedication to our customers and providing the best quality dog food while remaining consistent at the same time. Joy Dog Food is family owned and operated by Wade Graskewicz and his son Skylar. The two have worked side by side for years, providing superior customer service, products, and resources to pet owners across the nation. Here at Joy Dog Food, we pride ourselves on providing personalized one-on-one customer service to each person that calls, emails, or messages us. For more information on our products, to find a dealer near you, or to become a dealer yourself, visit joydogfood.com or call 800-245-4125.
If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a need for dog supply items such as Garmin products, bark collars, remote trainers, name tags, field trial and hunting dog supplies, supplements and first aid, dog fences, used and refurbished collars, and much, much more. Where can you go to get that? Outdoor Dog Supply. Outdoor Dog Supply is a leader when it comes to Garmin Tritronics trade-in program. They were one of the first Garmin dealers to start accepting Garmin buyback trade-ins toward purchases. Outdoor Dog Supply currently accepts both working and some non-working units. Be sure to check in with these guys at Outdoor Dog Supply or at 757-482-1000. And their hours of operation are from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you're in the Chesapeake area in Virginia, be sure to stop in. Go see these guys in person. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online sales as far as Garmin products go and your hunting dog supply needs. This is where I go to get all my stuff. Might as well join me in it. All right, guys. Again, be sure to check these guys out, outdoordogsupply.com, and thank them for coming on board with the Hounds podcast. Let's get back to the episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. Tonight, I'm joined by a special guest, Mr. Wade, and you're going to have to help me with your last name because I swear I slaughter it every time I try it.
Well, you're the first ones ever slaughtered it. That's not right. It's been slaughtered many times. Graskewicz.
Graskewicz. Okay. All right. I thought I had it pretty close, but I wasn't 100% sure. So, we'll kind of let you kind of take over here real quick and just kind of tell us, who you are. I've already said your name, but who you are, where you're from, and, the big importance of you coming on here tonight.
Sure. Wade Graskewicz here, owner of Joy and High Standard Pet Foods. Lived right here in Southern Illinois, Pinckneyville, Illinois. I was born and raised here, so I haven't moved far. Got into pet food business when I was 25. I'm 61 now, so I've been here for a while.
Yes, you done it for a little bit then.
Yes, started a retail store called High Standard Suppliers back in 1988, and I was working at the coal mines. I'd played college basketball at Missouri Southern, Joplin, Missouri. Came home, going to try to find a job, and there was jobs available, but the coal mines here in Southern Illinois was booming, and God, it was such good money and close to home that I took a job.
Right.
And I absolutely hated it. I despised every second I was there. Not something I want to do the rest of my life. And I knew it very quickly. Right. So got into coon hunting, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm gonna try to start a retail business. So, actually, my grandmother helped me financially to get started.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I went in and partners with my father-in-law at the time.
Right.
We went 50-50 and built a brand new warehouse, and that was in 1988.
1988. Okay.
Yep. I'm still in that same building today.
Wow.
Been there every day since. And started High Standard Suppliers, and after about 2 years, I bought him out.
Mm-hmm.
So I owned it myself, and I actually worked a little over 2 years, if I remember correctly. I was a day shift at coal mines, and I went to second shift.
Ooh.
And so I was working. I'd open the store at 8. I'd work there till about 3:15, 3:20. I lived real close to the office,
right.
And I'd run home, change clothes, and beeline for the mines. Be there by 4 to midnight.
Woo.
And then come home, get something to eat, go to bed. I'd be back down there by 7:30. So I did that for 2 years, and just stuck all the cash back into the business. Didn't take anything out. And then built my inventory and had a 2-year running head start. And then I quit the mines. And then I did that for a while. And but I could always tell that I just couldn't make the money that I wanted to make. And I had everything in there. I had dog boxes, Tritronics, electronic training collars, leashes, coon hunting lights, shots, wormers, everything you could think of.
Right.
Full line of feed. And I decided that I was going to gamble with my own line of pet food, and I called it High Standard.
Okay.
And I saved up. I remember I needed 10 grand. I needed to save up 10 grand to buy a set of bags, empty packaging.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And that started that in 98. And the first year was really, really tough. And year 2, it just exploded.
Man.
Did that solely, ended up shutting the retail part down and just did the pet food.
Right.
And then in 2006, the owners of Joy Pet Food at the time came to me and said, would you be interested in buying Joy Dog Food? And I was like,
wow.
Well, yeah, I would.
Dang, all right.
So negotiations was about a year back and forth.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
That's a long, drawn out process.
Yes, it was. And I'm still friends with the guy that actually, he worked for the company that owned it. I'm still friends with him now, still to this day.
Wow.
He's retired in Florida, but bought it in 2011. So that's wrong. 2010, they came to me. 2011 is when I bought it.
Gotcha.
And here it is, 24. And boy, when I bought it, it was Joy Dog Food. When I was coon hunting back in the 80s and 90s, I'm telling you, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was as popular as Purina.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe
and
that.
The original owners that started it was the Kosher family. They started in 1945, and I think they ended up selling it in about 2005.
Wow. 60-year run. Wow.
Yeah. And then I bought it in 11. Still own it, but it was, man, the packaging was antiquated.
Right.
Ingredients. A lot of the ingredients start out with ground yellow corn and soybean meal.
Ooh, yeah.
You would get absolutely slaughtered today trying to take a product like that around.
Right.
But we just over time just kept improving it, improved the packaging.
Yeah.
Trying to regain that momentum that Joy had back in the day.
Right.
And we're on the way. Everything is going good. Picking up new customers every day.
Yeah.
I have a loyal following, and I'm partial to I'm partial to coonhounds. I'll admit that.
Right.
Anything that any sporting type dog, beagles, foxhounds, retrievers, squirrel dog, bird dogs, anything like that. We push that direction, and we're, my marketing team, I always tell them, hey, we need to push toward the pet and companion.
Right.
That.
Yeah, I've kind
15, 20-pound dog in the house. We need to feed those guys too.
Right. I've noticed that y'all's advertisements and stuff on Facebook is kind of, I've seen a few more of those kind of popping up a little bit here lately.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, for sure. And you have to.
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
That's where the business is at. That's where the tonnage is at.
Right.
Pet and companion.
Yep.
So we push that way a little bit now.
I don't blame you. And it's funny, you were talking about, how it, back in, the 80s and 90s and stuff, that was the food to get. Going to these to the fox pens and stuff like that, I'll run into some of the older guys there, and they'll see the Joy hat on. They're like, "Where did you dig that old hat up?" I'm like, "No, I said that's a new hat." And they're like, "What do you mean, Joy? I ain't seen Joy dog food in years." And then I get to tell them, they're like, "Man, that was all we fed back when we were running hounds back in the 80s and 90s and stuff. That's all we used to feed." So I love hearing the older generation talk about, man, I'd love to see it come back and get back in the sport and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think what you're doing is 100% going the right direction. And it seems like that all is going great. And it's kind of cool to hear them old guys talk about stuff like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take a second real quick and interrupt the show and talk about Cajun Lights. They have jumped on board to support the Hounds Tales podcast and the field trialing community. You got nighttime field trials coming up. I know I do in my series, Pleasure Running at Night. When you need to catch that next crossing, put your trust in Cajun Lights. Cajun Lights is made in America product out of North Carolina, who has been in business for over 25 years. They make cap style and bucket hat headlamps to free up that extra hand for your voice recorder or for your GPS. There are three main lights I want to focus on real quick. The first is the Micro Gator, which is the lightweight option. It has 4 brightness levels and 4 color options, including red for us field trialers. Rated at 50 to 60 hours of battery life on the highest setting, this is your flood style lamp that'll do really good for us out in the fields in the short brush and be able to help us get in front of those crossings. Next up is the Cajun Bayou, which is the next step up, and it includes the same number of colors and brightness levels, but it packs a much bigger punch on that brightness level, so you can catch those crossings way down the path when you got a long road to cover. And last but not least is the top level Cajun Blinder. It has a main beam light with 4 levels of brightness and includes a walking light, and even with a light this bright, the burn life on it is rated at 5 to 6 hours on the highest setting. There's no chance of missing a dog with a light like this one, folks. All their lights come with a 2-year warranty and a lifetime labor warranty, and these guys are excited to get into our sport, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all be sure, if you see me at a hunt, come ask me about them. I'll have one of each of these lights on hand to show you and let you put it on your head and kind of experience it. Show these guys some love, guys. And y'all, please go visit their website at CajunLights.com, and their phone number is 888-773-3080. Thank you, Cajun Lights, for all you do and for trying to get into this sport. Like I said, guys, let's show them some love. Let's get back to the show, guys. Here we go.
Yeah, no, it is, and we get a lot of requests. It's funny. We'll get a request through our email.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my grandfather's 82 years old. He fed Joy dog food for 40 years. He used to wear a Joy hat, and they'll have a picture of it. It's worn out.
Right.
Could we get we'll send him 2 hats.
I love that.
Just stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, there's the marketing team does a really good job of throwing back throwback Thursdays, bringing stuff up with pictures and stuff. It's kind of neat.
Right.
One thing back in the day, Joy was not only a good quality feed, but the price was right.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on this a little bit.
Yeah.
And and being respectful for every dog food company out there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Everybody has a place.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody in the United States is going to feed Joy dog food. Okay.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Right.
I'd like for them to, but they're just not going to do it. But I had a decision to make years ago, and there's companies out there that just their sole purpose is price.
Mm-hmm.
And they constantly look for any way to knock that price down.
Right.
And there's ways to do it. Every month you can knock price down.
Right.
I mean, for instance, if top line fat, grade 1 fat goes up $200 a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, don't put grade 1 fat in there.
Right. Right.
Okay. Just keep lowering the stuff. If beef meal goes up $300 a ton, well, don't put as much beef meal in there. Back that off and put wheat or something else in there.
Right.
See, we don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing right there that that's me. That's not, I shouldn't say we, that's Wade. Okay. Wade refuses to do that. Okay. So I'll own that. And what I want to do is I want to build the Joy reputation on good quality pet food
mm-hmm.
that's consistent. It
Right.
doesn't change.
Right.
And, I beat this K-Cows per cup to death.
Yeah.
But it's factual.
Yeah.
And
100%.
if you got we got pet foods we got a couple, 2 or 3 that are over 500 K-Cows
Right.
per cup.
Yep.
Well, if you'll just turn that bag over, what you're feeding, and if it says 389 or 359, do the math.
Right.
If it's a race to 1,000 K-Cows per cup, if you're wanting to put 1,000 calories per cup in your dog a day, and you have to feed less than 2 of Joy, and you have to feed 3 of a competitor's dog food. So every day you take less than 2 out of ours, Joy, and 3 out of some. Just keep doing that every day.
Right.
To every dog.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, it just it equals out.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Price per cup will equal out. Yes.
Yep. And that's what I tell a lot of people whenever I'm promoting it and stuff, and people are asking questions. It's like they're like, "Well, how much are you feeding?" And I'm like, at least a quarter, maybe even closer to a half less than what I was feeding any other competitor, any other guy out there. And that's not trash talking anybody else out there. The other foods were good, but I'm feeding so much less and getting better results, in my opinion, out of these dogs. And I'm talking by a long shot as far as results go. So
yes.
I'm with you, and the proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding with the K-Cows. Right.
And this dog food's United States. It's not made anywhere else. It's made right here at home. Yeah. I have and I'll probably take some flack over this, but I'm just red, white, and blue through and through. Wow. And and I'll pick up stuff and look at it. If it's made anywhere else, I put it down.
No.
Okay. And same way with pet foods. I mean, anything imported over here, I'm not feeding it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Sound like a Toby
I'm not buying it. Yeah. I'm not doing it. But we're standing behind that. Our price is, I'll be honest, our price is higher than a lot of pet foods out there. Mm-hmm. But when we start comparing the K-Cows per cup,
yep,
and how much you have to feed per day, because Joy is dense and it is heavy, yep, and it should be fed, not on. Well, and I say this all the time too, and I'm gonna back up.
Yeah.
I could be sitting here lying, you could be sitting there lying, but a bag of dog food, guys, will not lie. It can't lie.
That's it.
If you feed Joy dog food and you feed it correctly, I promise you'll like the dog food.
Yep.
You might not buy it. Because it's hard to get. It's not in your area or whatever. You can't afford a $50 bag of dog food, but you'll like the pet food.
Right.
I promise you that.
I always tell people, whenever they're talking about trying, I say, look, take and split your litter, split your kennels. Take
Good
half or
point.
take, 2 or 3 of your dogs and start feeding them Joy. And you tell me the difference after a month. Don't give it a week. Don't give it 2 weeks. Give it a fair chance for your dogs to get accustomed to it and actually start making a difference. Give it 4 weeks to 6 weeks, and you tell me the difference. And I think I had sent you a picture of a buddy of mine that runs down in Carolina, and he did that. And then 6 weeks later, he sent me a picture of a truck with a trailer on it, and he had bought a ton of Joy. And it said, he's like, I will never go anywhere else. He's like, you were 100% correct on that. And he's like, everything that I've tried, I've bounced dog foods all over the place. He's like, all 6 weeks that I fed it, I fed way less. It was consistent, and the dogs had way more energy and were bounced back way harder. And he's like, I went straight to the store and told him I want a ton, and they ordered him a ton, and that's what he brought back to the house.
Yeah, and that's the biggest question we get through the office, through our marketing team,
right,
through Facebook, through our website. It's not close. Where can we get it?
Yeah.
And we have a dealer locator on our website. In fact, we just launched a new website here about 2 weeks ago. We have a dealer locator, and we take great pride in if somebody calls us and says, hey, I was at Billy's feed store last week and they don't have Joy dog food anymore, our marketing team picks up the phone calls.
Right.
Hey, are you carrying Joy dog food? Yeah, we are, but we don't have any in stock right now. Well, if you can't keep it in stock, we're going to take it off our locator because we had a customer drive to your store to purchase it and you didn't have it.
Right.
So we take great pride in trying to keep that thing accurate and updated.
Right.
So, but no, if you're wanting to feed Joy dog food, you want to try it, contact our office, phone, email, Facebook, whatever. And the question we always ask, a future feeder of Joy dog food is there a feed store in your area that you buy from that you like to buy Joy dog food from?
Right.
And they'll throw the name out there, and my marketing team's on it. They'll call that store and say, hey, you know what? Jimmy Smith just called and said he would feed Joy dog food if you'll put it in the store.
Yep.
And most of the time they'll order.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're growing through requests more than anything.
And I think that speaks volumes for itself right there, honestly. I want to take a second and talk about Frontline Optics real quick, guys. They are a sunglasses company that is owned and operated by frontline workers, fires and emergency services, guys. They have designed glasses with us in mind, with the frontline workers in mind, people that are out there using your sunglasses every day and don't want to break the bank and have a pair of sunglasses get broke and just be out of that crazy amount of money. Guys, these are high quality polarized sunglasses that are durable, affordable, and ultimately represent our lifestyle. In addition to that, a portion of all proceeds from the sale of these glasses is donated to First Responders Children's Foundation. It is in support of those children who have lost a parent in the line of duty. How cool is that, guys? So, guys, check these guys out, frontlineoptics.com. Go to their website, and when you go to checkout, be sure to type in the promo code HoundsTales. That's TALES while you check out, and you'll receive 15% off your first purchase. Also, these guys have a first-time replacement, no questions asked program. Be sure to check that out, guys. These guys are awesome. I can't thank them enough for jumping on board. And we'll get back to the show.
Yes. No, I agree. That's the best way to grow. It's not the quickest way to grow, but it's the best way to go. Because, any feed store owner, if you call there and say, hey, I'll get you another customer if you'll put some Joy dog food in there, put 10 bags in there. We don't expect 10 tons, put 10 bags in there.
Right.
And then what we do, we advertise that through Facebook. we'll try to get a picture of the front of the store, and we'll put that on Facebook and say, hey, this store in Alabama or Mississippi or Texas or whatever is now carrying Joy Dog food, and we'll target that area a little bit.
Right.
And it works.
And
it's time consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it works.
I swear every day it seems like I see a different store that is now selling Joy Dog food. Y'all make those posts. It looks like at least once a day, if not twice a day sometimes.
Yeah, we usually announce 2 a day.
Right.
Because we'll have people call us and say, hey, I added that 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Well, if you put 5 or 10 out there a day, they get lost.
Yeah, exactly.
They get lost. But if you just put a couple out there today, everybody notices them.
Yeah, the good old Facebook algorithm gets all wonky when you overpost.
Yes, sure does.
And one thing, you kind of talked about it a little bit was, a lot of the feed stores, you kept mentioning feed stores, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think that y'all sell in any like major chains or nothing like that. Y'all are all kind of pointed directly towards like family owned and small businesses, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
We are. Yeah, and I love old-fashioned feed stores. There's nothing better than walking in an old feed store in Georgia or Alabama, Mississippi, or Virginia or wherever.
Right.
There's so much history in those stores. But no, that's where we live and die.
I love that.
And we'll have to make the move, and we've had some chances, but I'll be on those big major chains. They own you.
Right.
Right. They own you. You don't own them, and they'll tell you when they're going to pay you and how much they're going to pay you. And
right.
There was a little rip on the plastic packaging on the pallet, and we're not going to pay you for that pallet. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. Mm-mm. I don't thrive well in corporate America, I don't believe. So
right. I understand that.
Yeah, I like Billy and Sally, and I remember their names and remember what their voice sounds like. And hey, we need some more feed. Can we order 5 tons this time? And we don't sell direct, but there's a lot of people that'll call in and want hats and banners and brochures and stuff that we've been dealing with for through High Standard or Joy for 20 years, 25 years.
Right.
So it's pretty nice. I like what I do.
I love it. I love that. I love it. So where do you want to see the future of the company go? I mean, obviously, y'all is nowhere to go but up. But where is kind of your mindset of the future of Joy and what you want to see it progress into?
Well, I'm always pushing. My son's in there. Mm-hmm. He's 35. He's in there. He works with me every day. He has since, he was 15 or 16.
Right.
So, him take over, run the company. I'm not ready to slow down yet.
Right.
But no, we push for growth all the time. We're constantly, wanting new distributors. We have areas throughout the United States that we do not have good. We don't have a good supply chain.
Right.
And we constantly try to improve on that. And a lot of it's freight.
Yeah.
Freight is a necessary evil, but
right.
it kills dog food sales.
Yeah.
Anywhere close to your manufacturing facility, your brand will be strong because there's no freight.
Right.
We have people from New Mexico that have tried Joy Dog food. We've sent Joy Dog food down there, and when you start looking at freight, it's $5,000.
Whew.
It's $5,000 for a load of pet food down there.
Ooh, goodness gracious.
Yes. So that's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, add that amount across every bag on a truckload of dog food. Yeah. So, you're over you're $5 a bag or over, and it. So we have some growing to do.
Yeah,
we need to. we need to cover some areas that we're not in.
Right. And I guess the further south you go, probably the harder it is for y'all to get it. Well, I guess the more expensive it is for y'all to get it down there, correct?
It is, but we have people, in southern Georgia, southern Alabama,
Right.
Miami, Florida.
Oh wow.
That orders tractor trailer loads of feed, and just sell it like it's the last day to buy dog food.
I love it.
Yeah. So, and then we have other areas that we try to get in. It's just difficult.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But no, the overall success, we're happy with that. I'm happy with that. But we're trying to grow every single day that we're there. And that's the goal, just to sustain the brand.
Yep.
Get some growth. I'm not crazy into going into major big chains. It'll eventually probably happen.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon. We're not even on Chewy. And I know dealers across the United States, if you mention Chewy, that's a 4-letter word. But I won't sell Chewy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's any truth behind it, but I've heard and seen rumors that Chewy is anti-dog hunting. Like I said, I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, or if that was one of those, how internet and Facebook and all that crap is, but
right.
That was just one of the things
I don't know
I'd
that to be. Yeah, I don't know that to be truthful. I don't know that.
Right.
I just they're not pleasant to deal with. That's all I'll say.
Right. I understand.
They had Joy at one time, and we took it away.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yeah, I took it away from them. So they're not.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. So I was just gonna say, we kind of, we talked about the company for a good little bit. Let's touch on some of the products that y'all have. What kind of, what's kind of y'all's product lineup? And, I'd say as far as, the majority of my guys are going to be your field trial guys. What are you suggesting as far as your field trial guys go and your heavy running dogs? What do you think that's going to be their best avenue as far as y'all's product line goes?
Well, the two products that I personally, take great pride in, and we trialed it, we tested it, we critiqued it, we maneuvered ingredients around, is the Joy High Energy 2420.
Yeah.
And the Joy Super Meal 3020.
Right.
I'll put those two products. I'll put that 2420 and that 3020 up against any product. I'm not saying they're better than any product out there. I won't say that. I know there's some products that are just as good, but I'll put those two products up against any product out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And there's some out there that's probably equivalent. There's no magical place to buy pet food. Okay.
Right.
There's no magical ingredients. And there's some other good pet foods out there. And there's some pet foods out there. I know one for sure that has more kcals per cup, if you want to be just completely honest.
Yeah.
But price per pound, price per cup, we're right there. And I don't think anything is going to outfeed us. We've taken great strides and great lengths to make sure the 2420 and the 3020 are very, very good products.
Right. You
don't have to feed much. It's going to keep a dog. If you're not 2420 and 3020, you better be running them or not feeding them much, because they're going to get fat.
Me and my kennel partner talk about that, or my running partner, we talk about that all the time. It's like, if you don't figure out, and I'm talking like you shave a layer, like a 1/4-inch layer off of the dog food, and it will fluctuate the weight of a dog. It is so precise what you have to feed your dogs, and I'm talking less than 1/4 of a cup difference, and you can either make them dogs overweight or you can make them underweight. It's such a fine line, and I love that you have to be that precise, and it really does go to show, in my opinion, how good the food is. That a 1/4 of a cup too much, and if you're not running them to make the difference up, you're going to put more weight on them. It really is nuts.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting here from 50,000 feet, so I can tell these stories. But I've had people call in and buddies and say, "Golly, I was gone for 3 days. I was gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I come back, and the guy that was feeding my dogs with Joy 24/20 or 30/20, I told them what to feed. And they said that wasn't enough. They doubled or tripled that because they felt sorry for the dog. They come back and they said our dog had gained 5 pounds. And 5 pounds on a dog is a lot.
A lot.
It's a lot of weight.
A lot.
Yeah.
It really is. It's crazy. You know, that's because we feed the 24/22, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, man, if you overfeed them by a minute amount, it's like, oh crap, I got to back her down just a little bit. And I had a guy come over one time while I was feeding, and he's like, "That's all you're feeding them?" I'm like, "Look," I was like, "they don't look like this for no reason." I said, "This is what I feed these dogs every day." And they're like, "There is no way that you're feeding that little bit." I'm like, "Yeah, that's all. You can't feed them no more, else they'll be a freaking inside dog before you know it."
Oh yeah, and it's funny that about there. There was another guy here. It's been 6 months ago. He said, and I shouldn't even tell the story, but he goes, "My wife won't feed Joy dog food." I'm like, "Why?"
Right.
Why was? Well, she feels sorry for the dog, because if you feed what she wants to feed so that she feels like the dog has enough to eat every day,
Right.
the dog's so fat that it's embarrassing. So when I fed the dog, she was upset because, saying that's not enough for a dog every day. That's, well, it is enough.
Yeah.
With those higher end K-cows, it is enough.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to say 7 out of the 10 people listening today might not understand K-cows per cup. What would you say the percentage is?
You're probably right, if not more, to be honest with you, because I know I'd never paid any attention until I started feeding Joy and listening to the advertisements and stuff like that. I had no idea what it was,
right,
and how to even, what it did.
Yeah, and back in the day, I remember my dad going, he'd buy, he fed dog chow all the time.
Yeah.
Well, nobody turned over a bag.
Right.
They didn't look at ingredients. They bought what they saw on TV or what was displayed in the feed store.
Yep.
And today there are so many good pet foods out there, and some people don't want to feed high calorie food.
Right.
They don't want that. They want something 200 to 300 calories per cup, and so they can feed a big amount of it. So they feel better that the dog gets all this dog food every day, but it's not necessary.
Yep.
It's really, really not. But to each his own. It's just, I guess that's the reason we cater to, running dogs, high active dogs,
Well, and I think something else too, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this, and I know me and Josh Michaelis had talked about this kind of when me and him started conversating back and forth. It was the digestible rate of the fat and the protein content in y'all's food. Isn't it one of the higher digestible rates of a lot of the dog foods that are out there, at least for the performance hound? We're going to take a quick second here and interrupt this episode and let you all know about our friends over at Southern Hound Hunting Magazine. Do you enjoy reading stories from houndsmen across the country, diving into real-life experiences out there in the woods with working hounds of every kind? Deer dogging, bear dogging, hog dogging, small game dogging, you name it, the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine has it. And it's bringing it to you page after page while also spreading a positive image of this beautiful sport that we all love. Be sure to sign up today, and for just $15 a year, you can have quarterly magazines filled with nothing but dog hunting sent right to your door. Check them out today at southernhoundhunting.com and get in the hunt. Let's get back to the episode.
Yes, and it has to be digestible for all this to work.
Right.
If you have, number one, if you have a bunch of fillers in there, you can't get that. You can't get the calories per cup up high. Okay. it's not digestible, so you can't get anything out of it. So yeah,
sense.
it's very digestible, and I've said this, I've told this story 30,000 times, but
Right.
maybe somebody's listening, they've never heard me talk before. But in an ingredient panel, if you start out like the first 3 ingredients, let's just say it's meat, wheat, and corn. We'll just say it's meat, wheat, and corn, or meat, corn, and wheat. Okay. Right. On an ingredient panel, everything's based off a 2,000-pound mix or a 1-ton mix.
Okay.
So you can start out with like 400 pounds of meat, 400 pounds of corn, 400 pounds of wheat. Let's just say that. We'll just use those 3 for an example.
Okay. Yeah,
so technically, by the letter of the law, if they're all 400, you can put wheat first and meat last or third.
Okay.
You can corn, wheat, meat, or wheat, corn, and meat.
However you want.
Or meat can be second.
Right.
Nobody's going to do that. If it's all even, you're going to put the meat first to make it like it's. Yeah, you're going to put the meat first. But see, with us, we don't do that.
Gotcha.
Okay, meat is first by probably 3 to 4 times anything that's second.
Wow.
It's loaded down with meat.
Love it.
And that's where you get the digestibility. You don't have a bunch of filler in there that goes in one end and out the other. And
right.
High quality fat. We don't mix yellow grease in there, or we don't do any of that stuff. It's good quality chicken fat. Yeah, and it's not easy to get because there's a lot of companies out there that want to mix it. They want to take 2 or 3 variations of fat and they want to mix that. And so when you're buying all top grade fat, these companies are like, now wait a second. I've got this quality fat and this quality fat. No, we don't want any of those. We want this.
Yep.
See, a lot of companies out there don't want to do that because they want to mix that.
Right.
Most of these companies want to mix fats. So
interesting.
There's just a lot to the pet food.
Yeah. It sounds like
manufacturing pet food. Yeah, there's a lot.
I love
An
it.
extrusion process, you put whatever you want to in, but the extrusion process, if you don't have the correct extrusion process and actually extrusion, an operator that knows what he's doing, he can mess stuff up too. There's more to it than what everybody realizes and understands.
I believe that. Yeah.
It's pretty complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you were talking about, with the digestible rate and stuff like that, and I think this is probably a direct correlation. And nobody likes to have this kind of conversation, but dogs can't talk to you. So you have to be able to look at a dog and look at what he's got coming out of him from the back end to be able to tell you how he's feeling. And I will tell you, a lot of other foods will mix, and I guess it's like you were talking about before, if there's a cheaper way to make the food for this month, they'll do it this way. Ever since I started feeding Joy Food, all the stools that I'm getting from the dogs are consistent, they're solid, and it's not nowhere near as many. So that right there just tells you that their body is absorbing almost everything that you're putting into them, and everything that's coming out of them is healthy, it's good looking, and it's there's no variation, there's no loose stools or nothing like that. And that's one of the things, of course nobody wants to talk about poop, but that's just
right.
The God's honest truth. When you're looking at a dog, there's no way for you to tell them. You can look at their movements, their habits, their muscles and stuff like that, but how they're feeling gut wise comes out at stool. And that's one of the things that has been a big win, in my opinion, about the Joy dog food. It's always produced good stool, and that just tells me how good the food is for them, especially how that makes them feel.
Right. Dog food needs to be fed by weight, not volume. Right. And I've heard this 1,000 times, 10,000 times in all these years. Well, I switched and I've got this red Solo cup, or I got this red
right.
Quick Trip cup that I've always fed. I feed the same amount every day. You're feeding too much.
Right.
Well, no, I'm not. Yeah, I guarantee you, What were you feeding? Well, I was feeding this. You're feeding 3 times what you should be feeding. You've got too much stool, don't you? Yes. You're feeding way too much. Cut it back. Cut it way back.
Yep.
And, you know, I think probably 75% of the people will listen and cut the feedback. Some people just have a hard time understanding and realizing you don't have to feed that much.
Right.
You really don't have to feed that much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a hard lesson for me when I got into the competition side, because my old deer dogs, you know, I grew up with my dad the old school way. It was self-feeders, and you go up to the little local store and buy whatever the cheapest dog food was on the shelf. You know, those dogs did what they needed to do, and they ate and whatever we would feed them. And it's self-feeders, they self-sustain themselves. So getting into the competition side, obviously you can't do that. So me cutting them back, and I had a guy tell me one time, he's like, you need to cut them back to where you feel sorry for what you just put in their bowl and go up from there.
No, that's a good statement.
Yeah. He's like, man, you need to look at that bowl and be like, man, I'm so sorry I'm feeding you that little. And it sounds rough and it sounds hardcore when you say it, but when you realize that that's all they need, and that's what they need to be a healthy, in-tune, prime dog, then it really comes to show.
Yeah. There was and they still buy our feed, but and I'm not going to name any names, right. But there's a pin down this direction, and of course they're feeding game and they're feeding dogs.
Right.
And I went with him. I went with him several times, but he was feeding 26-18 and 24-20 to his running dogs.
Right.
And he's always buying 20, 30 bags he'd feed 3 or 4 tons a month by himself.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. 3 different running pins.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. And he'd buy all this 30-20. And I went with him one day and you're not feeding this to your dogs? No. Don't need to. Well, what? Come here, I'll show you where I'm feeding. And he's feeding to the coyotes.
Wow. Wow.
And he just said, here's the deal. He said, I turn loose 3 sets of dogs in this pen every day.
Yeah.
You know, he was starting like 4 a.m.
Yeah. Doing the 4-hour split. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep.
And
he goes, this game runs 3 times more than any dog I've got all day long. He goes, why would I feed them junk?
Love that.
And I was like, you know, this has been, oh my gosh, I was probably 40 years old.
Right.
20 years ago. And I was like, you know what? He's right.
Makes sense.
He's exactly right.
Yep.
And I got to thinking about that, and he was feeding his game 30-20 every single day. And I've been other places and they're feeding bread and
right.
anything they can get, you know, and but there was a difference. I mean, in his game, his game looked good.
I bet them
but he was feeding 30-20.
Jacked.
Oh yeah, no, yes. He was feeding 30-20.
That's awesome. I love that. I bet they were some running fools too. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm sure you know this guy too.
I probably do.
I'm sure you do.
I love it. I think I've heard that story before. Maybe, I don't know if it was on another podcast or maybe somebody else had actually told me that story. So I probably do know who you're talking about. But
well, that's the truth.
Yep.
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So, you know, is there any other products you want to touch on before we kind of move into our closing topic, or you know, do you think? I know y'all have a few more. If you wanted to touch on them real quick, we kind of move into before we move on.
Sure. You know, we have 3 products over 500 kcals per cup. Puppy food's one of them too. I always felt that, you know, the puppy stage was very, very important. And I always, this is my opinion, but if you get a litter of puppies and you get them on Joy Puppy Food, it's very, very good.
Yep.
You're going to like it. I promise you'll like it. There's chances are you're going to take that and you're going to go into an adult food.
Yep.
So those 3 products, puppy food, Super Meal, and 2420 is our pride and joy.
Right.
We have a 2618. It's also very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's down there on the kcals per cup.
Yeah.
Intentionally. There's nothing wrong with the food.
Right.
It's high in protein, high in fat, very digestible. We just back the calories off.
Right.
We make a very good maintenance food, and all our foods have omega-3, omega-6, glucosamine, chondroitin in there.
Yeah.
Even our maintenance. I mean, there's very few, and I don't want to say we're the only one because that'd probably be a lie. But I'll challenge you guys out there. Any 2112 or any 2212 that's a meat first, omega-3, omega-6, glucosamine, chondroitin. I don't think there's a whole lot out there. We take some pride in that one as well. And then, we have the old Joy Special Meal bag. It's the same bag. I changed the ingredients. I will say that.
Right.
But it's still the old green, yellow bag. It's like a retro bag. I hate to give it up. So
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
And we have other products. We have other products in between too. I won't go into all those, those are our mainstay.
And I'll touch on the puppy food real quick. I will say I fed puppy. I just had a litter. They are, I just had it. They're 3 months old now. And I'll tell you, I didn't add anything. I didn't put any of the milk over top of it, the milk powder. And, I didn't add any, some guys add chicken on top of it. I just, when they got off the mama, I watered it down a little bit for them at first. And I probably didn't even need to do that, to be honest with you. And I fed them straight Joy puppy food and still are to this day. And I tell you, it's some of the biggest and prettiest pups that I've ever raised. And I'm talking 8 of them. They are beautiful dogs and big, long-legged. And you would think that I was adding a bunch of stuff to it, but that Joy just took care of everything. I didn't have to add anything. It did a great job. The Hounds Tales podcast has teamed up with First Form Outdoors to get behind the hunters. Yes, that's right, the hunters. We as houndsmen put so much focus on our dogs that sometimes we forget to focus on our own selves and our health. Whether you're in the woods racing to get in front of that big buck chase or in the wire for 5 hours catching crossings up and down the path, we are constantly draining our bodies all day long. First Form offers energy drinks, hydration products, protein snacks, and other supplements to get us back up and going while we are doing what we love. Show yourself some love and visit firstform.com, and that's the number 1, STPHORM.com to check these guys out. And from here on out, at all hunts, I will have products available for purchase. If you have any requests that you see when you visit firstform.com, feel free to contact me and place an order, and we'll make that happen. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah, it's and that puppy food is very, very small too.
Right. It almost looks like fish food.
Yeah, it's designed that way, and we're particular about it. I know. The plant called here. It's been 6 months, a year ago.
Right.
And they said, "Hey, we just run a big batch of puppy food, and we didn't get the size right."
Oh no.
Is that okay? Is that okay? No. Nope. Trash it.
Man.
No, that's not okay.
I respect that though. I respect that a ton.
Yeah, that's not okay. Because what happens is, the guy's feeding puppy food, and it's the correct size, and he opens a bag of that, and it's double in size.
Yep.
Guarantee he's going to think it's wrong.
Right.
There's a mistake here.
Yep.
And, and we don't do it. If it's not the right size, we're not bagging it.
I respect that a lot.
We're going to bag it.
I love that.
Yeah, no, you got to be careful of what you do. You really do.
Yep.
So,
I think that's a pretty good wrap there on a lot of the Joy dog food stuff. Like I said, we got one more little closing topic I want to hit real quick before we let you go.
Okay.
is there anything else that you want to add about Joy and Joy Dog Food before we move on to this last subject? I felt like we covered it
no,
all
not
pretty
really.
good. Yeah.
No, not really.
So,
I'm sure there is. I just can't think of it right now.
right. I get it. So we'll move into this closing topic, and this is something I like to ask, everybody that kind of comes on here, that's especially the ones that are involved, and, with you being a business owner and dog food owner in this sport and in this side of the world, what, in your opinion, is something that us as houndsmen can do to keep dog hunting around for the next generation so that my grandkids can come up and run dogs? What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I love hearing people's because, man, you get all kinds of different answers. So I'm really kind of curious to what your opinion is on that.
Well, I think it starts at the bottom. And, first thing I thought was start at the bottom. Take a kid hunting.
Okay. I like that.
Take a kid hunting. This youth stuff and is big. The one thing I don't see in some of these other breed affiliations like Beagles and I might be missing it too. The coonhound world has youth hunts.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, big, and it's tough for me to turn down a youth event.
Right.
We sponsor a lot of youth events, and I love that. I'm proud of that. Take a kid hunting, and then the second thing is everybody has to stand up and fight all this stuff that they're trying to take away from us.
Yep.
Have to be organized, and you can't take the attitude, well, somebody else will do it.
That's
well,
right.
If you take the attitude, somebody else is going to do it, and everybody does that, then nobody's going to do it.
Yep.
So that's the first two things that popped to my mind when you said that is take a kid hunting. Whatever you hunt, take a kid.
I like that.
Take a kid.
Like
and second thing is, I know you guys are in Virginia.
Yeah.
Big, that's a great state. But everything that goes on out there and North Carolina, South Carolina, Illinois, Virginia, wherever.
Right.
You have to stand up and fight that stuff.
I agree.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Yep. No, I love that.
Like it's the last fight.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Because we got people on the other ends that are never going to stop.
No, they're never going to stop.
Never going to stop till it's gone. No, I agree.
But when you really think about it, though, when usually stuff like that is out of emotion.
Yep.
And you go try to take running hounds or take away bird dogs or retrievers or coonhound events. There's a lot of emotion there.
Right.
Right. People love that stuff.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of the fence, the people are trying to take it away. They can get fired up. They can get fired up about a little bit, but sometimes it's the sustainability of them being fired up and fighting will wane.
Yep.
But especially when they see some strong opposition and strong support from the other side, it's just you have to fight that fight like it's the last fight.
Yep, and bring that science-based information in, and that's a huge win on our side. Yes,
absolutely. Huge so that's win. And I know I'm missing. I know I'm missing some points there, but that's just the first two things that popped to my mind was fight the fight and take a kid.
Yep, I love that. I love that. I love the take a kid thing. I think that's something. I think a lot of forms of dog hunting have something, but I will say that a lot of those coon hunts, those youth hunts that they get put on, man, it seems like there's one or two every month. It seems like they go on. It's wild how many youth hunts they do.
Well, see, we do. I'm sure we do podcasts.
Yeah.
Joy Dog Food we have 3 podcasts a week.
Right.
Josh does a great job. Callie does a great job on the retriever side, and Mike Green does a great job on the beagle side. And just like this coming weekend, we're going to miss, and I'm probably talking out in left field, we're missing the big pro sport event this weekend.
Right.
Major coonhound event. We're missing that because we're going to go to the Trader Youth Hunt.
I love that.
And yeah, we're going to the Trader Youth Hunt.
Love that.
And yeah, Jed does a great job of doing that every year. And man, the prizes are astronomical. And then, you know, Josh is going to be there doing that live. We're going to do the whole thing live.
Love it.
And then he's going next weekend. The following weekend is the Louisiana State Hunt. And Louisiana is the same way. Youth coon hunt down there is huge. And he's going to go down there and cover that thing live. Go
ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I hope that Josh is keeping track of all his miles, because I'm really curious to see how many miles he travels this year with everywhere he's going. He is all over the place.
No. And I worry about him.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Saturday. Well, the PKC National Championship was this weekend right here in Illinois.
Yeah.
And he was there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He had to stay till Sunday because the championship was Sunday. Now, I jumped down there and bought him one of those little pull-behind campers that he can sleep in.
Right.
They're real small, and you can sit up in them, but you can't stand up in them.
Right.
But it's got an air conditioner. It's got a heater. It's got a TV in there.
He loves that thing, too.
He does love that thing. He pulls that thing all over. And, you know, I tried to stay up and watch that whole national championship. He had that thing live on our Cane Stream site. And I fell asleep. I'm not going to lie. I fell asleep about 11:30. I woke up at 2:30. And, of course, for insurance reasons, I can track any vehicle I own. I track.
Right.
For insurance reasons.
Yeah,
I look to see where he's at. He's headed for home.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how he does it.
He drives in his driveway Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. Yeah, 7:30 a.m. He drives in his driveway.
Man.
So yeah, he's a road warrior. He's very, 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 very good at what he does.
Yes,
very, very
100%.
good.
100%. I
Yes.
love everything that he's doing and everything he's putting out. He does great stuff for the sport, for hound hunting, for joy, for Cane Stream. And if y'all have not checked out Cane Stream, I know I talk about it and try to share it when I can. And y'all need to go on YouTube and Facebook and check out Cane Stream Media. It's great stuff. And it's not just coon hunting either. They are venturing and going to a lot of different directions. Y'all be sure to check these guys out.
Now he is, you know, we've talked about this. I think we're coming down. You know, we're going to send him down there.
Yeah.
For Joy Dog Food and Cane Stream for your finals. Is that
that's
where
correct.
are we coming?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
So when is that? When's the final?
That is the first weekend. No, excuse me, the second weekend of October. Weekend of October. Yep. So we got a little while, but it's going to be such a good hunt. I think a lot of the sponsors for the series are going to be there, and you know, I definitely cannot thank y'all enough for coming on board with all that and doing everything that y'all have, not only for the series, you know, but for the podcast as well. And I really do appreciate y'all for everything that y'all are doing and have done already. It really does mean a lot.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're glad to do it.
Good deal, man. I really appreciate it. Well, you know, we're actually creeping up on the hour. I know we talked about it before we started recording that we weren't sure that the hour mark was going to be right for us, but we're daggone sure creeping up on it. So before I let you go, is there anybody that any shout outs, anything that you need to plug, or any big thanks out there for anything?
No, I just want to thank all the Joy customers. You know, all this is not possible without you guys. We truly, truly appreciate, you know, you people that feed Joy Dog Food. We strive to put the best product we possibly can out there on the market. I know there's lots of options and lots of good dog foods. This United States of America, so everybody's striving to put a good product out there, but we feel like we have one of the best, and we appreciate all the people that support us. We really do.
Love it. And I agree 100%. I agree 110%. Well, Mr. Wade, thank you so much for coming on. It really does mean a lot. And like I said, thank you for everything that you're doing for the podcast, the series, and dog hunting in general. Y'all are doing a ton between Joy and the Cane Stream Media. I think y'all are definitely leaders in a new generation of leading the fight. That's a whole nother topic. But I love everything that y'all are doing, y'all are putting out, and I think it's great stuff. So thank you again for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So everybody out there listening, thank y'all for joining us again. Y'all be sure to tune in to the next episodes, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Feel free to share away, and thank y'all so much for listening. And like always, guys, happy hunting.